Professional football in America is a special game, a unique game. Played nowhere else on earth, it is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
Coming now, buddy. We on our horse all day long. Let's just kick that butt all day long. Pick it up. Don't stop. Pick it up. Let's go.
Get after the ball. Tattoo somebody.
Welcome to This Week in Fantasy Football. This is Week 7 of the NFL, Week 7 of Fantasy Football. I'm Mike Cardano. This is the Kings, Scott Engel. Scotty, how are you today?
I'm doing very good. I am ready for Week 7. Can you believe it? The fantasy football regular season is halfway done. A lot of seasons go to Week 13. We're halfway there, but we're not living on a prayer.
That's bad. All right, well, listen, I just want to first say before we start what a privilege it is for me to be up here doing the show with you each week. A Fantasy Hall of Famer, allowing me here to be moderating the show. It really is a privilege. So I want to say thank you.
I feel like Han Solo right now. I love you. I know.
Well, last week, I usually come on the show and I introduce you as my sidekick. Right? And you take umbrage to that most times.
No, I really don't, considering the source.
But last week, I intentionally didn't do that because I didn't want to make you feel bad. But our viewers noticed. And we remember Cha-Cha? Remember one of our viewers, Cha-Cha?
How can I forget Cha-Cha?
He was out heckling Mac Chobb in his driveway, I think, last time we saw him.
When he wasn't heckling Adam Ronis in his driveway.
Yeah. Well, Cha-Cha sent in a video, and Cha-Cha had something to say about all this. So, here it is. Take a look.
Hey, Goomba. That's right. Cha-Cha here. I want to know why my boy, Mike Cardano, don't get more time talking with you, King, on that sequence you guys do together. I know you got a problem with vowels in people's last names. That's right. Charlie Cha-Cha Di Casala. It's Di Cosola, pal. And it's Mike Cardano to you, your sidekick no more. He is the man. You are the sidekick. Get used to it, King. Kiss his ring. He is the leader in that little duet you guys have. So deal with it. Deal with it.
All right, Scotty, so what do you have to say about that? What do you think about that?
The man is seriously unhinged. He looks like a deranged salsa.
He's Walter White.
He looks like a deranged salsa musician who's out of work or something like that.
He's Walter White.
He looks like somebody who didn't make the cut for the audition for Carlito's Way or something like that.
I want to thank. He's making a pitch for me to get some more time here.
I don't think it's going to work. It's just it's downright scary.
It is pretty scary.
Whatever happened to Tito Point? Look at him now.
All right. Let's move on to the questions. We got some celebrity questions again this week. Some questions from the common folk. Everything. So let's move on.
And the Cha-Cha folk.
And the Cha-Cha folk. So do you recognize the music?
Yes, of course I recognize that music. That is one of my wife's favorite artists, Victoria Engel, Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the way I do.
Yes, that is off the first album, her debut album from 1988. My wife was a big Melissa Etheridge fan right out of the gate. She always used to play the song Similar Features. That is one of her favorite songs. My wife was a Melissa Etheridge fan right from the beginning.
Was that before or after she turned gay? Or I don't know if you turn gay or if you just are gay. I don't know how that works.
Look, let me tell you something. This show has already been thrown off kilter by Cha-Cha. That kind of comment,
Just asking.
You don't turn gay. It's not like Superman. You don't go into a phone booth and come out being gay.
All right.
I think we should leave this alone.
All right. So Melissa has some questions for you. She's actually got a two-part question.
She's not talking to you after that comment.
All right. Who knew Melissa liked football? I didn't know.
You can never assume anything about anybody.
No, I don't know if she likes baseball. I don't know if she's the pitcher or the catcher. I don't know how it works.
Oh,
but all right, here we go.
Bad jokes.
If Nick Foles plays well against Dallas on Sunday, do you think Michael Vick will get his job back? That's part one. Part two, should I try to trade Vick now and avoid potentially getting nothing for him?
Okay, here's the thing. Nobody knows the answer to that question, honestly, except Chip Kelly. But, if Foles plays better again for the next 2 weeks, he's got a really good shot because it really depends on whether they win games. If they win games, that's the bottom line in the NFL. As for trading Vick, you're just not going to get a good return for him right now because a lot of people are hot on Foles right now. And if Foles doesn't win the next game or two and Vick's going to come back, you're probably going to regret selling on him for not much.
I cut the question down. There's a big long narrative here, but she goes on to point out that he was the 9th-ranked quarterback even after missing a week plus. He's still the 9th in terms of fantasy scoring.
That's why you don't trade him now because you won't get the proper return right now if he does get the job back.
Okay. All right, Melissa, I hope that helps you out, and good luck with...
Never get another email
stuff
from her again after, your little diatribe there.
Just ask the question. It's fine.
All right.
Next question, celebrity question. Joe Pisarcik. Remember Joe? I think you met Joe down at the Fantasy Fest. Did you meet Joe at the Fantasy Fest?
Yes, I believe I did, yes.
Ex-New York Giant. I believe
Yes.
he played in the CFL. He actually played, believe it or not, he played a little bit for the Eagles after fumbling the whole fumble.
That's what a lot of people remember him for, but real football fans will remember him for a lot more than that.
He's currently the NFL Retired Players Association president. So he's moved on. He's doing some stuff.
He's in charge of a very important movement.
You know what? He told me an interesting thing about that fumble. The week before, a similar call came in from head coach John McVay, and he didn't think it was the right thing to do. He audibled. And during practice that week, John McVay reamed him and said, "Don't you ever change one of my calls again." So when the play came into the huddle, everybody in the huddle was telling him, don't run this play, just kneel on it. And he didn't want to get yelled at again, so he ran the play. And rest is history, a ball on the ground, Herman Edwards, and what, don't fumble?
Listen to me so I don't yell at you.
Okay, well, John has a question. Joe has a question. There's been lots of talk about the Giants possibly trading Hakeem Nicks before the trade deadline. I know he's a prime receiver now. Should I trade him in case he becomes a role player with somebody like the Patriots?
I don't think somebody's going to, like Hakeem Nicks, get traded to become a role player. This guy's been an outstanding NFL receiver for a lot of years, and if somebody's going to pick up Hakeem Nicks, it's somebody who's going to contend and wants to give him a significant role because they have a hole. Let's just throw something out here right now. The Kansas City Chiefs would love to have Hakeem Nicks because right now Dwayne Bowe can't separate from Michael Cardano out in the field. And if Hakeem Nicks was to go there, he'd be a major, major playmaker. That's one example. Let's say he gets traded to New England, right? He gets to play with Tom Brady. The numbers go up.
Atlanta needs a receiver. I don't know if they consider themselves out or not.
They do need a receiver. Matt Ryan would instantly make sure that Hakeem Nicks would post close to wide receiver 1 numbers again. So that's not why you trade Hakeem Nicks if you're going to trade him.
All right, Joe, hold on to him. Or trade him, but not for that reason.
Right.
Okay. Last celebrity question. Dale Murphy, ex-Atlanta Brave. Dale Murphy. 2-time MVP.
Yes, Dale
right?
Murphy, center fielder for the Atlanta
There
Braves.
you go. You think he's a
That's a
Hall
guy
of
that
Famer?
should be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't know if there's anybody with 2 MVPs that's not in the Hall of Fame.
That's ridiculous. It's when I grew up playing Stratomatic, which was a forerunner to fantasy baseball, you didn't want to see the guy with the other card flip Dale Murphy on top because you knew you were in trouble.
Right.
Great fielder too.
All right. Well, Dale's got a question here. Keeping with the Atlanta spirit here, I can't wait anymore for Roddy White to become healthy. What's it reasonable to ask in return for him for somebody who has a roster better suited to wait his health problems out? Would asking for Keenan Allen be reasonable?
I don't think it would be because the way Keenan Allen is playing right now, if I had Keenan Allen, you offered me Roddy White, I would say, well, why do I want to take on that problem? See, if you have a problem with Roddy White, you have to think like the other owner. Why does somebody else want to take
Well,
on
I think
your
his
problem?
point is maybe he's got somebody that's got extra receiving depth, and they just want to maybe add to it later.
But Keenan Allen is not receiving depth right now. Keenan Allen is my number 14 ranked receiver on my RotoExperts.com lineup ranking.
He's not depth.
This
He's
week.
depth
This
is
not
behind
depth.
him.
Depth
Yeah.
is behind weeks. The way he's played the past 3 weeks, he's not depth. Maybe it's really going to be really, really hard to deal him. Maybe you could deal him for a Shane Vereen or an Andre Brown, but you're just not going to get much for Roddy White right now. Hold on to him and hope he gets healthy. A lot of times people will say, I got a problem player, I want to get rid of him for something good. People don't want to take on your problem.
Right. All right, Dale, hope that helps you out. Let's move on to the common folk portion of the program. Some of our viewers here at Steven43.
These are not common folk.
Do I trade
Let me.
DeAndre Hopkins?
Whoa. These people are part of the RotoX Nation. They're very, very important. We would not be here doing this without these people. How dare you talk to me about insulting the viewers? You're calling our users common folk?
Well, how else do I refer to them?
I don't know, but you're very full of yourself this week.
All right, do you want to answer this question?
Insulting Melissa Etheridge, insulting the viewers.
Steven wants to know if you trade DeAndre Hopkins or Andre Johnson now that the Houston quarterback situation has turned upside down. Now, I don't know if
this is a fundamental issue here again.
So now we have a quarterback in Case Keenum that has never thrown an NFL pass here.
That doesn't mean he can't be respectable. Here's the fundamental issue right now. You have a problem. What makes you think that you're going to get any sort of viable return for your problem player?
Well, that's why he's asking the question.
Yes. What I'm saying is, you're not going to get anything from DeAndre Hopkins. Andre Johnson, you might, but you're going to regret it if Andre Johnson continues to put up Andre Johnson numbers. The only way to get a realistic return for these type of players is to package them with somebody else. And people say all the time, I got a problem with a player and what can I get for him? You're not going to get much for him. It's a problem guy.
Well, you might be able to dupe somebody.
It's rare.
Right.
It's rare. Too many people. There's too much information out there now.
All right. Sorry about that. You probably shouldn't have drafted 2 Houston guys. I don't know if you're a Houston fan, but
it might have ended up being coincidental.
Okay. At Eddie Fay wants to know if you should pick up Jared Boykin this week, and do you think James Jones will play?
James Jones, we won't know until at least Friday. We'll see if he's practicing or not. If not, Jared Boykin could start. Somebody definitely pick up along with Chris
Just
Jones,
so the folks know, we record this
there.
program on Thursday afternoon, so we don't know yet as of this.
Right, but this will probably, by the time you watch this, you'll know whether Jared Boykin practices or not. I mean, if James Jones practices or not. If he doesn't, you can start Jared Boykin very possibly as a wide receiver 3, but you definitely pick him up. I don't care when you're watching this. You certainly pick up Jared.
He's going to get some time anyway because he's the 3 receiver now as it is. He'll move up to the number 2 if Jones isn't there, right?
Well, he'll be the 3rd guy in the pecking order. He'll be behind Jordy, Jermichael Finley. But I know Lenny Melnick of RotoExperts.com likes Jared Boykin a lot. He tells me, I like Boykin. I like going out on the weekends and seeing if I can Boykin the girls.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. At Buffalo Bill. Now, I can tell this is going to be a problem right again. If Buffalo Bill, he's going to ask a Buffalo question. Sure enough, here it is. He does. These people drafting their hometown guys. Would you hold on to C.J. Spiller in hopes that he has a healthy, productive second half? Or is this just a year from hell for him, and should I just rid myself of the weekly problem?
Rid yourself? Well, you're not going to cut C.J. Spiller. He
sounds like he's had enough.
It sounds like he's at least a top 20 running back, but the problem is they have a quarterback issue. C.J. Spiller's not healthy. C.J. Spiller, for the rest of the year, he is what he is. He's going to be boom or bust. You don't know what you're going to get when you put him in there every week. He's going to drive you crazy. What I suggest is you hold on to Spiller until he has a really good game, and then you sell on him.
Okay. So hold on to him, let him do nothing some more, get a little more frustrated, and then eventually...
What if he blows up this week and has a 100-yard game? You trade him. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You hold on to him because you're not going to get a good return for him right now. Wait till he has a good game, and then boom, then you move him.
We had like 3 or 4 questions here, and everybody's got the same question. They got somebody who's not performing for whatever reason, because the quarterback that's throwing the ball stinks, or because they're hurt, or whatever the reason is. But these people are asking you, what do I do? Should I trade him? And you're telling them you're shit out of luck.
Well, I would not say that because I'm
You said it.
professional and I don't use those sort of words on camera. But I didn't say that guy was SOL as I'll put it because I actually have a little more tact. I'm saying you have to wait for the right moment in order to trade him. I'm not saying you can't trade CJ Spiller. Don't do it now. You won't get the proper return. Andre Johnson, we had a question about Andre Johnson. I think you might regret trading Andre Johnson, so you want to hold on to him. With Roddy White, maybe you are SOL, though, because the guy's not healthy and you're just not going to get nothing for him. So each case I take individually.
Right, so you shit on luck.
No.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the games this week, week 7. We don't have any really inclement weather games yet. It's not that cold around the country yet. Some things are still in domes.
Wow, what insightful weather reporting by you.
Well, sometimes that makes a difference on who you're going to play.
Nobody's talking about weather yet.
I just talked about it. I just said it.
You shouldn't.
Oh, I did.
It's a waste of
Buccaneers
valuable
at
film
the
time.
Falcons. It's in a dome. No weather concerns unless the air conditioning goes out there. Well, what are you looking at there? You like Glennon?
No, he's not a fantasy option. Doug Martin, not an outstanding
I
fantasy
like Glennon. He's got his
option.
both his first and second receivers back this week, doesn't he?
That doesn't make him a good fantasy quarterback, though, necessarily. I mean, he's got Vincent Jackson. Wright is a nice tight end, but Mike Glennon is, he's a game manager right now. That's all that he is. They're trying to make him not make mistakes.
3 weeks ago, you were telling everybody to pick up Mike Glennon and stash him.
Yeah, stash him. He maybe down the line.
So they
you might
waited,
get
they
some
got
better
him, the other
numbers.
guy's out,
A
he's
lot of
in,
people
and
are
now
not
you don't want him to
rostering
play?
Mike Glennon. A lot of people are not rostering Mike Glennon. He hasn't shown anything.
Thanks for giving me useless advice.
I have useless. You're talking about weather. You're talking about weather. I give out useless advice. You're talking about weather in a dome, and I'm giving out useless advice.
Pick him up and put him on their roster. They put him on their roster. He's now playing, but you don't want him to use him.
No.
What they pick him up for?
Well, I changed my mind about the guy. I actually saw him play.
Is there
I'm
any
allowed to
value
change
for
my
anybody
mind.
here in this
At least
game?
I'm not giving advice about weather in a dome.
Is there anybody for this game here?
I like
Buccaneers,
Vincent
Falcons?
Jackson. Doug Martin is an okay start. Wright, the tight end, is somebody you pick up and maybe use if you have Jimmy Graham. Watch Harry Douglas very carefully. He's now the number 1 receiver. We don't know what's going to happen with Matt Ryan until we actually see him play without Roddy White and Julio Jones. Can he make these receivers better? We just don't know because we've never seen him in this sort of situation. It was kind of like Colin Kaepernick coming into the year. A tight end name to remember and file away is Levine Toilolio of the Atlanta Falcons. This guy could be a red zone target.
But if they pick him up once he starts playing, are you going to tell him not to use him?
Every player is different. Okay, I don't know if you can wrap your little mind around this. Sometimes you change your mind on a guy. You pick up Tololio on the flyer. If he does something, you get him in there. If he doesn't, you cut him. But this guy has a chance to make an impact.
All right.
I don't hear you making any quality recommendations.
Bengals at the Lions.
Bengals are at the Lions, yes.
What do we got there?
What's
who am I
what's
playing?
the weather there,
Who am I
genius?
not going to play? It's in a dome.
Oh, thank you very much. The Bengals and the Lions, Giovanni Bernard right now is like a top 13 fantasy running back. He's pretty much a must-start over guys like C.J. Spiller that we were talking about. I'm not sold on Marvin Jones. For the Lions, looks like Calvin Johnson, he's feeling better. Reggie Bush is a must-start, and if you got a bye week issue, maybe you're missing one of your top wide receivers there. Colston has been disappointing. Give Chris Durham a play in the PPR league. Not Christian Fourier. I keep saying Christian. There was his uncle. Joseph Fourier scored 3 touchdowns last week. And that's a guy that is going to be very boom or bust based on touchdowns. But tight ends are unreliable, so take a crack.
All right, yeah, I think he's got 9 receptions on the season and 5 touchdowns.
Yes.
So he's 6'7". He goes in the end zone. He stands up. He's like kind of Harold Carmichael.
You're a weather major and a math major. Look at you.
It up. All right, Texans at the Chiefs with Case Keenum quarterbacking for the Texans, playing the Chiefs, who allow just 10.8 points per game. I don't know how you allow 0.8 of a point, but they have the best scoring defense in the NFL.
They did know math.
Right? Best scoring defense in the NFL.
Yes.
And they're putting
Top
this
fantasy
poor
defense.
kid back there to... Now, yeah, you know what? Houston's defense actually has the best yards given up
But that
in the
doesn't
NFL.
make it the top
which means
fantasy
nobody's going anywhere. And we're just going to have a defensive game here.
Well, I don't know about that because with Case Keenum, a quarterback, and Arian Foster dealing with a hamstring injury,
They ain't going anywhere.
The Houston defense might spend a lot of time on the field. Huge game for Jamal Charles, I think. Houston hasn't been that good against the run. Sometimes when you look at the pass defense, it's because people are running a lot on them too, and that could be the case with Houston as well. Dwayne Bowe is not even startable. It's getting to the point where he's not rosterable right now. But for once, this guy is right. Maybe this could be a very low-scoring game. This is a very, very good game to play Ryan Suckup with the Chiefs because there could be a lot of field goals. You could see 12 to 15 out of your kicker this week.
Yeah, this is the second week in a row you recommended Suckup, and I refuse to have a guy named Suckup on my fantasy roster. If you guys want to go ahead with
Well,
it,
you're a Jet fan. I don't know how much you know about winning football, so I'll teach you about it.
Bills at the Dolphins. Bills have their own quarterback problems.
Very good. You're learning. Thaddeus Lewis has a foot injury.
Tebow's next.
No. Thaddeus Lewis has a foot injury. He's expected to start, but this is a tough matchup in Miami for him. People are talking about bench Stevie Johnson because he faces Brent Grimes. Stevie Johnson, if he plays, use him. He has stood up to the best corners in the NFL throughout his career. I'm not worried about Stevie Johnson. CJ Spiller's not 100%. He's number 19 in my lineup ranks on RotoExperts.com. Fred Jackson may not get enough goal line opportunities. He's number 22. I like the Dolphins a lot this week. I said in the preseason, here's something I did say in the preseason that's coming true. That it was going to take time for the Miami offense to gel. They were going to be inconsistent early. You're going to see good games this week from Mike Wallace, Lamar Smith, and maybe even Brian Hartline. And Charles Clay is very, very underrated as a tight end.
Okay, there you have it from the King. Patriots at the Jets. Is Gronk going to play this season or not?
Maybe within the next 2 weeks. It's become a silly storyline. Tom Brady just not the same without him. Not a top 10 fantasy quarterback right now. Julian Edelman, you have to start. Campbell Tompkins is very touchdown reliant. He's kind of boom or bust.
Hey, Amendola's got a concussion. That's a surprise. He's hurt.
Why are you smiling about a guy's concussion?
It's just
look at this guy.
The guy can't play a game and a half without getting hurt.
He makes jabs at Melissa Etheridge. He picks on the viewers, and now he's smiling about the guy's concussion.
He is hurt.
Look at this.
He gets into
this is why fantasy players get a bad reputation. Oh, he's got a concussion.
He catches the ball. It's amusing. I know somebody won $50.
Concussions are amusing?
I know somebody won $50.
How about I hit you in the head and see how amused you are?
That he's going to get hurt during the game.
Oh, yeah.
It's very predictable.
This guy is a real piece of work. Yeah, where do we
do my Jets have anybody? What do you think about Jeff Cumberland?
Back to the Patriots, though. The running back picture, Stephen Ridley is definitely in the top of the running back picture again.
Nobody's running on the Jets.
But
they can do everything else.
I was about to say that. Check out sportsgrid.com, my audio clip. Trade Maurice Jones-Drew to the Patriots. But as far as the Jets go, I don't see a whole lot offensively either side on this game. Bilal Powell is a flex, and that's about it. Maybe Jeff Cumberland is a bye week sort of option if you're missing Jimmy Graham. He could score, but Geno Smith, he's going to turn the ball over at least twice against this Patriots defense.
Cumberland's got to work on his end zone downs. A little flaky. Cowboys against the Eagles.
High-scoring affair here. Both Philadelphia defense obviously terrible. Tony Romo at least 2 touchdown passes. Des Bryant, one of the top wide receivers of the week, if not the top wide receiver of the week. Get Terrence Williams in there because maybe Miles Austin isn't 100%. Joseph Randle starts for the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, DeMarco Murray was going to get hurt at some point. I would wish for it like you did, but I knew it was going to happen. You're probably smiling about the injury, but Randall get in the end zone. On the Philadelphia side of the ball, Nick Foles, a terrific start against that Dallas defense. Deshaun Jackson, top 3 this week. I do not believe in Riley Cooper.
I heard a stat this week. I don't know if it's true. Maybe you can tell me. The Dallas defense has given up the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks of any other team.
That's very true.
It's true.
Actually, Adam Ronas pointed that out in his Stardom and Cinema column on RotoExperts.com.
Interesting. Is that a playable thing? Is actionable? You play quarterbacks against them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I just recommended him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We got Bears and the red-colored skin people team.
He tries to be tactful. It doesn't work. Jay Cutler's a top 6 start against this pass defense. Brandon Marshall, maybe 2 touchdowns this week. Alshon Jeffrey, a must start. Martellus Bennett. Start all your key Bears this week. The Bears defense is not what it used to be. RG3 starting to run more. We saw more of that last week. He is a top 13 fantasy quarterback this week. Pierre Garçon, solid start. One guy NFL scouts and former scouts are talking him up. You have to get him on your roster right now. Is Jordan Reed of the Washington Redskins.
All right. What about Alfred Morris? A lot of people are frustrated with him.
Why should they be frustrated? He's been putting up solid numbers every week.
He's not been putting up the numbers he put up last year.
Look, a lot of running backs. All right, if you want to complain about Alfred Morris,
Well, they drafted
would you rather
him
have
as a very
C.J.
elite
Spiller?
guy.
Would you rather have Alfred Morris was an early second-round pick. Would you rather have C.J. Spiller? Would you rather have Doug Martin? There are people who should really complain, and they're not.
Would you
Alfred
rather have
Morris
Frank
owners.
Gore?
Yes. And my apologies to last week's subscriber.
Candles 99.
Frank Gore is top 10 right now.
Great call in hindsight.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes.
All right. The Rams and the Panthers.
Boy, the Rams really hammered the Texans last week. Not going to happen this week against a good Carolina defense like D'Angelo Williams against that run defense. Cam Newton getting more design rollouts. Maybe Ted Ginn Jr. if you got a wide receiver who's hurt, who's on a bye week. On the other side of the ball, I really can't trust anybody from St. Louis. I know Sam Bradford scored a lot of fantasy points, even outscored Kaepernick and some other quarterbacks.
Sam Bradford is ranked 7th in fantasy scoring in terms of quarterbacks. Playing way over his head?
Yeah, he is. He's overachieving. I just don't see him keeping it up. I really do. I think Sam Bradford's playing over his head. He's still developing with that receiving core.
All right, well, imagine when he gets good then, when he stops developing and he flourishes. Got to play him, no? Well, he's hot.
Not over some other more proven quarterbacks.
You got to play him over Russell Wilson.
No. Russell Wilson.
He's scoring more points every week.
Russell Wilson gives you more scrambling yards. He has more upside.
So you have more or less fantasy points than Sam Bradford.
I'm not going to look at fantasy points after 7
that
weeks
don't count.
and let them make the
decision.
decision.
It's a fantasy show.
I know what kind of show it is, but you can't look at this kind of stuff in a vacuum.
Okay.
But Sam Bradford's not going to be in the top 13 in fantasy points at the end of the season.
He's 7. We're almost halfway down.
Now.
All right, here we go.
The numbers are overachieving.
San Diego
Mirrors.
at Jacksonville. San Diego at Jacksonville. It's probably a beautiful sunny day in Jacksonville. 68 chance of showers.
What an expert! What an expert on weather you are. Beautiful sunny day in Jacksonville.
68 chance of showers. San Diego, Jacksonville. Give me some insight. Who we playing?
Some insight. Who we playing? Phillip Rivers must start. Keenan Allen, top 15 start. Vincent Brown, don't trust him. Antonio Gates, love him. Play Ryan Matthews for a second consecutive week. Maurice Jones-Drew might be a decent start. Justin Blackmon is a must start this week against that San Diego secondary.
And Keenan Allen you like?
Keenan Allen's like top 14 for me this week.
Better than Justin Blackmon?
In a very close call, yes.
All right. I can't argue with you, but that is a close call. I could argue. But
they're right next to each other.
Yep.
We were splitting hairs.
Splitting hairs.
And I don't have hairs to split.
Okay. 49ers at the Titans.
This is going to be a defensive game. The Titans have a very underrated defense. They're going to hold Colin Kaepernick in check. They're going to limit Frank Gore this week. I think this could be a battle of field goals here. I really don't like any offensive players on either side, except for it's hard to bench Frank Gore right now. And hard to bench Vernon Davis, too. But this could be another disappointing week from Colin Kaepernick. I will play Sam Bradford over Colin Kaepernick, that's for sure.
Okay. Ravens and the Steelers. That's a kick them, drag them out type of game.
Always.
You just beat the crap out of
Always.
each other.
And this could be low scoring again, but I do expect some big plays here and there. You start Torrey Smith. Ray Rice has been disappointing. He's an RB2 right now. On the Steelers side, the Steelers have given up a lot of sacks, and the Ravens have a lot of sacks. So it's not good for Ben Roethlisberger, not good for Le'Veon Bell. The only must-start on that side of the ball is Antonio Brown.
Okay. Cleveland at Green Bay.
Cleveland at Green Bay. Very interesting for Aaron Rodgers, but, with the receiver injuries. But whoever you plug in there, Rodgers is going to make good work of. Jordy Nelson faces Joe Hayden this week. Nelson does have a high ceiling. You could see a big game from Jermichael Finley, some good numbers from Jared Boykin, and a lot of rushing from Eddie Lacy. On the other side of the ball, I like the Brandon Whedon to Josh Gordon connection, and if you're very, very desperate, I think Greg Little scores a touchdown again this week because Brandon Whedon likes looking for Greg Little in scoring situations.
First time I heard Brandon Whedon in a fantasy sentence in a long time.
Well, you must have not watched Pat Mayo's videos then.
No, I didn't. I listened to Pat. That was very funny.
He is.
Yeah.
He's ubiquitous.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
Denver at the Colts.
We know the obvious storyline here with Peyton Manning. And, this is going to turn into an offensive slugfest because of that, because Peyton Manning wants to shut up Irsay and perform well in front of the old
You know what would be
crowd.
good? If Archie Manning and Oliver Luck got into a fight.
Anyhow, Peyton Manning, number one quarterback in fantasy football. Wes Welker, the number one wide receiver in fantasy football this week. Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas, No-Show Moreno, all must-starts. Julius Thomas with Jimmy Graham on the bye. Number one tight end of the week. Andrew Luck's going to try to match him. That'll give Trent Richardson some opportunities to score. Reggie Wayne, T.Y. Hilton, all good must-starts. But I don't care who he faces. I am not playing Colby Fleener right now. I can throw Colby Fleener and Jared Cook right now into that Loch Ness Lake or whatever they call it. Those are two Loch Ness monsters.
It's got a case of the dropsies.
We always hear about how good they're going to be, and we never see it.
Okay. Monday night, the Minnesota Vikings, with their brand new quarterback,
Josh Freeman,
the hapless Giants.
Yes, the Giants might actually get their first win this week.
Right.
It's a very, very good opportunity. Eli Manning's a pretty good start. I would start Eli Manning over
You
Sam
going to start Peyton
Bradford.
Hillis?
No. Eli Manning over Sam Bradford for sure this week. Love Victor Cruz, Hakeem Nicks, Ruben Randall, Brandon Jacobs punches it in for another touchdown. Minnesota, I think they're going to have to be conservative. You'll see a lot of Adrian Peterson. I avoid all other Vikings.
Okay.
Freeman doesn't know the playbook yet.
Well, sure he does. They wouldn't play him if he would.
He doesn't know the playbook like he should.
And you're going to decide that.
He's been with them for 2 weeks. Anybody with half
I think
a brain,
Leslie Frazier knows if he knows the
anybody with half a
playbook
brain
or not.
about playbook, they're going to have to dumb it down for him. He's only been with them for 2 weeks. So they'll keep it simple for him. Let him manage the game and not make mistakes.
So you don't like him, is what you're saying.
As a fantasy quarterback, no way. He's not anywhere near my top 25 this week.
Did you like him when he was in Tampa?
He was
Let
good,
me ask you this
he was
going
good for
forward.
a stretch fantasy-wise.
Going forward, his receivers in Tampa are probably better than the receivers he's working with in Minnesota. Would you agree?
The problem is Freeman itself, his decision-making and his NFL acumen. It's just he's got all the talent, but mentally just not there right enough.
Again, now you're insulting the players.
I'm just talking about the guy who's a football player.
That could even be taken as racist.
How could that be taken
You
as
just
racist?
called him. What did you call him? What were you pointing to your head? That's awful.
I could say that about anybody.
Oh my God.
You're just trying to point the arrow at me because you were making gay references early in the program.
I just
how is saying somebody is mentally ill isn't there
I think perhaps
racist?
this is a good time to end the show. From Mike
That
Cardano
is
and
the
the
dumbest
King
thing I've
Scott
ever
Engel. Week 7. Good luck, everyone. See you next week.
See you next week with a weather report.
Now's the time to work and strain at a sport that tests the spirit and challenges the brain.
Come on, let's go. Yeah, I'd like to have 75 degrees and sunny all the time too, but that's not football.
Do you fear the force of the wind, the slash of the rain?
We're gonna play it through light and rain.
Go face them and fight them. Be savage again.